Okay.
Okay, it's Wednesday, February 16th at 6:06 PM. This is the monthly meeting of the Economic Development Commission. All four members are here and we have one guest tonight. We'll start with public comments if we have any.
Nope.
No public comments. Okay, we'll go on to old business, changes in business developments in town. Here's where I just go over some things that I've come up with and other people can add on. The cafe on Cogamon Road, now it's called Rad's Cafe. It opened by the rail trail. It has a new business. It opened in January. Noble Steed behind Big Y is continuing to sell lots and continuing to sell completed houses. Some of them are in the $500,000 or $600,000 range down there. And the Greens of Southwick, the former country club, they're continuing to sell houses and sell lots to builders who are then building the houses and selling. And Krabby Joe's was before the planning board last night. It's been before the planning board for a couple of months. They want to kind of fix up and paint up, spruce up whatever inside of Krabby Joe's. But they want a license from the state as a marina, and they're talking about 60 boat slips. And that's the argument from some of the people in the neighborhood in terms of there's not enough parking spaces, both for the restaurant, and then if people have their boats there, where do you find another 20, 30, 40, whatever number of parking spaces? So that's still in process. The Pride Corporation sold their business. It was in Mass Live and in the Republican in January. They sold it, I think, effective the end of December. And then the real estate was in a separate entity, which then got sold off to the new company. The Pride Station in Southwick, according to Mass Live, was sold on January 25th. The sale of the real estate itself took place. The deed was filed on January 14th of this year, and it was sold for $748,100. That's kind of a postage stamp piece of real estate. There's not much there. Currently, according to LoopNet.com, which is for commercial and industrial real estate, as of this morning, 809 College Highway is for sale for $775,000. 809 College Highway is that property where they've had that exercise place
Next to Whip City, Tool
Right.
and Die, yeah.
right next to Web City. It
Metal
used to
building.
be owned by, and I don't even know who owns it, it's some
That was
LLC.
a-
I didn't chase down the ownership.
Yeah, I thought
But
so.
it used to be for repairing school buses.
Yeah.
So apparently, the exercise business is shut down. They haven't moved somewhere, at least at this point. Maybe in the future they might move, but they haven't moved at this stage. They just shut down. So as I say, that's for sale for $775,000. Anything else going on in town, business-wise?
I told you about that shop next to the chimney sweeps.
Oh, yeah, you
Affordable
mentioned.
design and decor. I think they're opening next month. It's a tiny shop. Next to Balance, next to Subway.
Across from the summer house.
Oh, I didn't see someone going in there.
Yeah, it looks like a tiny place. And that was sold recently, that building. I think
Yes,
to
it was sold a
DePalma.
couple of months ago to
Yeah.
De Palma.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chimney place moved a couple of storefronts up, so it's now at the corner. Like Subway's at the lower corner, they're on the upper corner of the building.
I think they got more room because they have
Yeah,
pellet stoves
it
and
has
stuff
a
like
lot
that
more
too.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they've been doing well under the last couple of years, because when we had the job fair in September, they were there, and they said their only problem is getting inventory from the manufacturers.
Getting inventory and getting help.
Yeah,
They need
and-
masons
right, getting
and
help.
stuff like that. Yeah. I don't, hopefully they've done better. I had them clean my chimney.
You did?
And they're super nice. And they're very professional.
So what else is happening?
I don't
on
have
businesses?
anything else that I know of going on in town. Or at least that I can speak about right at the moment.
You'll be building your other building sometime this year?
Yeah, maybe.
Where is it gonna be? On the
It's
industrial
just-
road?
Yeah, right down Arnold's the property line there.
Okay. Do they have a quarry back there or something? Yeah, okay.
When you mention quarries and that kind of stuff, the planning board approved the land owned by, I believe it's Tilcon on Hudson Drive that they've been taking out gravel and sand and whatever for years. A company is gonna go in there and lease 25 acres from them for a solar farm.
Oh, good.
And they're going through the final approval stages with the planning board.
Because nothing else can be done. I mean, they've maxed out
Oh,
what
yeah.
they can take. So
Well, that's what they had
Yeah.
said 4 or 5 years ago they were getting
right, I
down.
remember that. Yeah.
And then they were talking about that site where the Carvana was gonna go, that it won't be, I don't know, one of the select people said,
There's-
it won't be probably used for anything other than, I don't know, we're trying to do something with the sewer line, or, I'm not sure.
Oh, well, well, as far as I know, there's nothing going on that property. In terms of the sewer line, and this has been suggested 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, the sewer line goes up through the rail trail to Westfield.
Yeah,
So they're talking about getting an easement from the property owner to put a sewer line, to put a pipe from the rail trail up to College Highway.
yeah,
And then the town, in the future, if they have the money and everything else, could extend sewers to that part of College Highway, to the existing businesses or any other future businesses, because now it stops at Southwick Florist.
that's Southwick Forest, yeah.
And they were throwing a number around on, I don't know if the number is accurate or not, that it would cost about $1 million if they were to run the sewer line, if the town hired a company to do it, prevailing wage rate and, all the other stuff, up like a mile, just to get it up to like DPW and
Oh, really?
other stuff. So this way, especially if they could get the property owner to pay for it or something, which would then make the property more valuable, but to get that sewer line from the rail trail out to College Highway, put a pipe big enough that the town could then extend it to other property owners around there. But that, again, that, I won't say it's pie in the sky, but
Yeah,
that's down the road somewhere. Maybe it'll happen and maybe it won't. And the town had used a state contract with state funding it for some kind of consultant to look at Hudson Drive and Tannery Road and that whole area about would it make sense to extend utilities in terms of natural gas and in terms of sewer into that area, and supposedly in the next month or two, the town is supposed to have the report back from the consultant. I'm not sure what the parameters were, so I don't know what to expect
Yeah.
out of that report. And as we were talking just before the meeting started, on Hudson Drive at the end of it, Tilcon owns some land. 25 acres of it is gonna be leased to a company that's gonna put in, a solar farm. The only difference that I can see of that solar farm versus the other ones that we already have in town is this one would have some kind of either 2 or 4 containers in the middle of this development of solar with batteries. Because the other ones just feed immediately out to Eversource. This one would have some kind of battery, so I don't know if they'd be trying to sell energy to Eversource in the middle of the night, or I have no idea what
I don't know.
the arrangement is behind that. Because one of the big things with the planning board what would these containers be sitting on, and would the batteries, could they leak, and those,
Yeah,
is it gonna be, the old acid batteries? No, they were told it'll be some kind of lithium batteries. Well, how are they gonna be monitored? And they said they'd be remotely controlled, remotely monitored from either the eastern part of the state or some other state, but it wouldn't be monitored right locally. Because
China.
I have no
I think they're out
idea.
of Rhode Island. That,
that whole industry is changing all the time.
Right.
They're talking about, did you see something in the paper with that big silo? Some guy said it's gonna be the future where you get electricity out of the air,
I
heat
saw
out of
that
the
the other
air.
day,
Yeah.
about a day or 2 days ago, I
Yeah.
saw that.
so.
Yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities.
make a note of that for the master plan.
There you go. Silos. It'll
Silo
go with the-
Southwick.
It'll go with the look of, right? Isn't that what everybody wants?
It just looks
Yeah.
like an old
Yeah.
red barn.
Right. It's not a red barn. It's not a. Yeah.
And that's a silo at the side of the barn.
Yep.
You didn't know, but those were the cell phone towers were inside.
I know. Oh my gosh, and that all with the 5G now too. With the
I know.
well, I mean, everybody said there was some concern. Now it's like hitting the media and stuff. But then, did you see Super Bowl commercials? They were really pushing all
Yeah, they
that
were,
5G,
yeah,
weren't they?
Well, apparently, 5G is supposed to be 4 or 5 times faster or more than the existing technology.
I mean,
They're using it in Europe already. It's been up and running for a year or two.
well, a lot of them are fighting it now too, saying there's some issues, but you just don't know. I guess until it's there and it's been used. I guess you just don't know what.
Well, the planes were all grounded for a while, weren't they?
Yep.
All I know is my cell phone is not 5G, so
No, mine
I
won't
wouldn't be
be.
able to use that
I gotta
benefit.
tell you, my cell
I
phone.
wanna get
isn't.
away from
I
all
use it
those.
I use it a lot, and I have no problem.
If you want
I
to
send
spend 12 or
documents, I do everything.
$1,500 on your new cell phone, it'll be 5G. But if you don't want to spend that kind of money, then you won't get the benefit of it. So, is there anything else going on in town? Do we know of?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of, and I apologize, but I was not at the January. I was not at the meeting for the master plan committee, so I
weren't?
don't have an update. And because I wasn't there, I didn't realize they were going to do an early meeting for this month. Were you at it? So what they did was I think they just agreed to go with the Pioneer Valley Planning
Commission?
Commission for it.
To do the study?
Yeah, I did speak with.
They're good.
With John, yeah, I think that's what they were doing, a quick meeting about that.
So
because
are
wanted
they
to get
going
the
to do
process-
both halves with the housing and the
Yeah,
regular?
yeah, I think they are. I believe that's what they decided on. So it's just gonna be.
Phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be different phases, and it's gonna go as the grant money kind of comes in. And I don't know if this was a vote. I know that I was asked in an email for myself, aside from economic development, because of my real estate background, for them to reach out to me for housing. Nobody has so far in regards to that. I did agree to it because, why not take on something else as well? So, I
Why
was
not?
like, why not? My husband keeps going, why do you keep taking on? You were going to lessen stuff this year, Amber. I'm like, I know. And take it on more. So, but I agreed to that. I'm not sure what that's going to entail either. But yeah, so I do apologize. I'm going to be a little more diligent, but I was sick in January, and then I did not realize that they were going to have a meeting. And they actually apologized because they didn't reach out to me and let me know that they were going to have an earlier meeting. Normally it would have been yesterday. So
Because when you're dealing with the housing component, the Census Bureau, of course, has all sorts of data. And Southwick is like 80-something% owned versus people that rent, and that's different in some other communities. And our price range basically seems to start at the Little Capes off Feeding Hills Road for 140 or 150 at the cheapest, all the way up to 8 or
Millions.
900 if you wanna be up on the ranch
Aren't
somewhere.
those 200?
No.
Those.
I was just having a conversation with another realtor in town that's from town. I think she grew up here, and we were just on the phone. Just business. Throwing back. It's hard to find starter homes, but you can still kind of find them. What we have a real problem with now in town is that mid range. Is that real mid range?
Yeah, yeah.
You can get a starter, something small, whatever. You can go really high. You can find those, but it's that real mid range that
Can't
just
find.
they're just almost non-existent.
It's like that 350 to 600 range, there seems to be nothing there.
So there's nothing there anyway for any.
Well, yeah, in total, you've only got 8 or 9
I
to
mean, we're
choose
having
from.
it's hard. It's hard. So.
So are there any more developers or anybody buying land to build 5 or 10 houses?
So
or-
not that I know of. Not that I'm aware of as of right now. I know that, like you said, the Greens and Noble Steed is still going on, but I don't know anything else. Brief discussions about, the condos and stuff like that they're
Yeah,
trying to
Home
put
Depot,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a need perspective, when it comes to real estate of like, what are our clients' needs and what do people want versus, I know they all think we're like, sell, buy, we're looking, but we're, if people need a place to live and they want a place to live, I mean, that's
Right.
definitely going to fill a void that, we have for somewhat.
The condos.
What's
Yeah, I
the
think
price
so.
range for the new
And
condo?
there's
I
to be
have
like
no
100?
idea.
I can't see
So
100 there.
that's what
Can you see
that's what
100
we've
there?
kind of discussed is like just wondering, but I think that's what they were saying is
It's
100.
100.
Yeah.
Seems like a
So-
lot.
There are some
They gotta be
1 bedroom,
tiny,
some
yeah.
2 bedroom, mostly 2 bedroom, and then some 3s. So obviously the smaller ones are the 1 bedroom.
But
I
somehow,
think I have to
I don't,
Tighter
Yeah, I have to look into
units.
it a little bit more.
I hope it's gonna look nice.
I'm sure it will. I mean, I think, it's just, that's, when you're doing units when they're together like that, that's a lot of money for somebody to put up right away for like, if it's going to be like a 14 unit or something versus, the townhouses, the 2
Yeah, yeah,
like
right.
Depot Court and
Right.
stuff like that. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I have no part in it. I have, however, looked at it, and if I downsize, I've already picked out which one I want.
So that you've seen plans for it?
No,
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 okay.
I just saw the basic one. I'm like, that one looks like the best one. I'm gonna take that.
A hose
one.
down
But yeah,
special.
I know a couple other parents with seniors and stuff. They're like, I think if we want to stay in town,
Well,
we could
the-
Hey, you
downsize
could
to
sell your
this.
house out of problem.
I know.
the developer bought the land for 750,000, and if you're putting in 100 units, that cost isn't bad, but I have no idea what the construction
Yeah,
costs would be
no.
in roads and parking lots.
I don't
and-
know if everything's I mean, just just like a, like a roadway and everything in itself is
I know,
a
just
huge
the site
expense
work.
and just the site work and the perk tests and the,
Permitting and the.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to someone in the kitchen design business the other day, and I said, "How's it going?" She said, "No problem. If you order your kitchen cabinets today, they might be delivered in July."
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe, yeah, she
I
wasn't
know,
guaranteed.
I know.
So she says everything's taking months.
It's everything. I have to order my
Faucets.
cat food on Amazon or
I
that
know.
or Chewy.com or whatever that is. I can't get it because
There's lots
we
of
all
other-
decide when your son's a senior and you go visit colleges, you adopt 2 kittens, right? So I don't know what I was
would've got another
thinking.
puppy.
I know. No.
You have a puppy?
No,
Oh.
she's a year old now.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah. No.
Still a puppy.
Yeah. No. So yeah. So I mean, there's certain things you just can't get, and it's taking forever. And that's the thing. Like when you look at the construction and the different things, I mean, that's going to be, in of itself, I think a task. I have people looking at homes and thinking of flipping and stuff, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, let's think about this. I go, we got to think about You know, what are we doing here? So you're doing the roof, you're doing this, you're doing that. How long is this gonna take? You know, realistically, I know you say you have a guy, but are they gonna show up? Are they gonna, you know, get the
When
materials?
is he available?
Right, and when
Yeah.
and are they gonna be able to get the materials? What materials are they gonna need
Right.
for this project? And if they need these materials, are they easily accessible? Are they, you know, regular, or are you gonna go a little above and beyond? Again, you're gonna redo the kitchen. You're gonna get your kitchen cabinets in July. So when you're thinking about that, all these months, what are you paying for, you know, taxes and payments on the loan and stuff
Right.
like that? So
It's not all that profitable.
not always.
Not now.
not right
That's-
now.
you can't-
No.
Not for now, not now.
Maybe it is. Don't say that.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you know, if you find the right property.
All the right things have to come together.
They do, and you know
Yeah.
what? And sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. So, but you have to, you know, again, it's not just, oh, you want to buy this? Okay, I'll sell. You know, definitely. Let's put an offer in. Like, you have to look at all the logistics of it all too.
The select board and the finance committee who put out their schedule of looking at the budgets for each department and board and everything. This year,
Are we
they,
getting more?
they emailed it instead of giving you a printed copy, so you at home, it's your paper and your toner.
There you go.
The town's doing more and more of that, where they're emailing stuff instead of printing it out. On March 5th, they are starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and they'll go on till 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Economic development is on March 5th at 8:20. They've given us 10 minutes,
Okay.
which is
Really?
generous. They used to give us 5 minutes.
What day is it?
March 5th.
March 5th, it's
at
on a
8:20.
Saturday.
Here?
Upstairs,
March what day?
March 5th,
At what time? 8:30 in the morning?
8:20. We have 10 minutes.
And what time does the full meet? What time does the original meeting start at?
It starts at 8 with the town clerk. She's got 10 minutes.
Everybody
Okay.
has 10 minutes.
Oh.
They're 10-minute increments.
Oh, okay.
So what are we gonna ask for more money?
Well, we were. Remember,
Yeah.
we were going to ask
Yeah.
for some more
What do we
money.
have now? 600?
600.
Yeah. We used to have 1,200.
Right.
And we're asking for
For
fif-
1,000?
No,
Or
we're asking
2,000.
for 2,000.
Oh, 2,000.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I better get my. Okay.
I think. Can we all show up?
If you want to.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah, I'll say yes.
And then they've got other boards and committees and departments on March 19th. the two-
Okay.
two
So
Saturdays.
then, in regards to that, Michael, are you going to be speaking at that meeting, or do we?
Yeah.
If we speak for 10 minutes?
Oh,
You just
they'll
have
ask,
to put in-
they'll
yeah.
ask questions or whatever. Well, do you think you really need them? And we've been hearing this for at least 10 years, if not 15, in Southwick. The town is in dire financial circumstances. The state is in dire financial circumstances, and the country is about to go into bankruptcy. You hear that every single year. Reality is, the town is collecting all their real estate tax. They're not behind. The American Inn hasn't gone under. I mean, that was a couple of years ago where they were behind a year or two. We've got lots of money. They've increased the assessment on residential properties in town, so your tax rate dropped from $17.59 to $16.98. But don't worry, your assessment on the property went up $20, $30, $40, $50,000. So your net tax bill will be higher than it was last year. Don't worry.
But you
So-
can pay it in 4 easy installments.
Right, 4 easy installments
I hate
instead of
that.
2. No.
Yeah.
And then some of the things we can kind of think of.
So that's upstairs here?
Yup, on the second floor where the planning board normally meets. So you can come in the back door and just go up 2 flights.
Okay.
Or take the elevator if it's working.
All right.
Um,
So do we have to ask, we have to ask?
So we
Explain
already,
what it's for.
we already asked, and so if they
Right.
ask, you know, we're gonna address the fact that this year, you know, we didn't,
Have a fair.
for the home and business show,
Yeah.
we need money for advertising.
Right.
We did for, you know, for free here, obviously, but we had no money for advertising, so
For
we
the
had a
job
very,
fair,
for the
yeah.
job fair, we had a low turnout rate. we'd like to be able to promote some more stuff and businesses
Right.
for this town, and be able to do things like the fact that, you put out the flyers and the restaurant lists and so on and so forth. While social media is great, begging, newspapers or, people from the news stations to come and show up for that, any,
We don't have money to put a $400 or $500 ad
Right.
in the Springfield Republican when they do their business and
Right.
industry
and not that we
section.
necessarily want to spend $400 or $500
No.
on an ad, but the fact that we're barely making ends meet to cover the cost of being part
sort of, yeah,
of
right.
the Westfield Chamber of
Right.
Commerce and stuff. All the
Granby,
things
yeah.
that and Granby that we need to do. Never mind leaving us. There's no leeway to do anything.
Have they changed their rates?
What's that?
The other, Granby and
They,
Westfield?
they haven't so far,
Not so far.
because a lot of times in the last 2 years, they didn't do very
Right,
much.
yeah.
In fact, the Westfield Chamber, the executive director retired,
Okay, yeah.
the secretary retired, and they had volunteers, the president of the chamber, and that kind of filling in. And then they finally hired a new executive director, and they hired a secretary that works like 3 hours a day instead of 7 or 8 hours. So they've been cutting back, and now they're trying to get everybody to sign up for the golf tournament and a few other things, which is where they make their money.
Right.
So they're restructuring as well. So they've
Yeah.
kind of left it, which is fine. But if it gets back to where it was, and we're doing these events like at the ranch golf course and stuff like that, if they bring that stuff back, it's just silly for us to not be able to partake and or put all our money into those couple of things and
Right.
then not be able to
Right.
advertise at all or do anything.
Well, even signs.
Right.
I haven't asked, but I know the cost of signs will probably have gone up because of
Absolutely.
the cost of
Oh, yeah.
materials.
Absolutely.
Again, it would have been nice if we could have had a couple of signs
Yeah.
for the job fair. We didn't have money,
Right.
because each of those panels have been costing us, I think it's $30 or $35 a piece. Typically, they'll probably go up $5 or $10 because of the cost of material.
But again, I'm not saying, and I know job fairs just weren't, success. No, nobody was wanting to work at that time. But it would have been nice if we could have been able to put a little bit of advertising out, versus just free social media, trying to reach out
Right.
for free,
Right.
to the different news stations and stuff like that. Having them show up was great, but showing up during
Yeah.
and giving us a spot on the 10 o'clock news versus, doing a quick
You missed
interview.
the job fair that was earlier
know.
today, or it was
But
Yeah,
doing
right.
an
I know,
inter-
so
doing
that's-
an interview
yeah.
prior to, yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, right, I know, after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been nice if we could have, had a little something beforehand. So,
But you try to work with the press, be it television,
Right.
newspapers, whatever.
right.
Remember, I handed the restaurant list to one of the reporters from one of the TV stations in Springfield. I said, spend some money, visit some of the restaurants in town.
Who was that, do you remember?
Her name was like Demore or something. She said she lives in Suffield.
Oh, okay.
And she works, I can't remember, it was 22 or 40.
All right. Yeah.
I'll work with any of them, whoever shows up. So do we think we might do a home business show in the fall, or wait till next spring?
I don't see why we shouldn't. If, I think it's going to depend. I think what it's really going to determine is what our budget is. Because then it's going to determine where we have it.
Right.
Right.
I think, I think that's the biggest determining factor.
I do know that when we've had it at Tucker's and also at the ranch, we got a lot more traffic than we did here.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, part of it at either Tucker's or the ranch is they could go get a beer, or they could
And I
go
think
buy
that-
themselves a glass
you know
of
what,
wine
though?
or whatever it might
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
That's
you know
up
what,
to
or
them.
even, even a soda or anything that
Right.
they, you know what I mean? And anything's great to keep people there.
Right.
I'm thirsty or
Right.
something, I'm not gonna, that's it, I'm leaving, I'm going home.
Right.
Versus staying, hanging out, chit-chatting.
Rent a popcorn
Hey.
machine.
Yeah, but, hey
And,
Serena, do you guys cover,
Yeah, right.
this type of insurance?
Right.
Tell me a little bit
Right,
more about that,
exactly.
and what are your
And
rates,
a
and
lot
who
of
do
the
you?
people who come were from Westfield. So anytime we can get them into Southwick to spend a couple of bucks, the
Yeah,
better for Southwick businesses.
that's true too. And we
And that's
always-
what we've always had it
and
in
we-
Southwick.
Yes.
but-
Right. And we always have a table up for economic, so, we're good
Yeah.
there. And you can put the restaurant lists out and stuff.
Right.
But I think it'd be nice, because what I've noticed in the past is it just wasn't people just didn't know,
They didn't know, yeah.
and I
Didn't
would
have any
tell
idea.
some of my girlfriends, I'd be like, oh, come see me at, especially when we did it at the ranch, come see me.
Right.
And they were like, we had no idea. Nobody knows it's even going on.
Well, some people read local newspapers and many don't. Many people get their information off the Southwick Forum or the Westfield Forum or whatever.
Yeah.
It just
But
varies.
even still, they see it, and it's. I think it just doesn't resonate what
Right.
it is. Even a quick. So I don't know.
What do we call it anyway?
We've been calling it the Home and Business Show.
Hmm.
The Cultural Council is going to have their art show. They didn't
Oh,
have
they
it
are,
the last
okay.
2 years. It's either
In April, is it,
the
you
end
said?
of April or the first weekend of
Here?
May. But they are having it here again.
They can
Yeah.
have food and everything, do you know? You're not, because of COVID, yeah.
Well, with COVID, they're not sure what the Board
Yeah,
of Health
right.
will let them have. And the last couple of, 1 or 2 times they've had it here, they cut down on the food.
I noticed that,
Because
yeah.
before it was like a dinner, you have
People were coming for.
250
yeah,
or 300 people with their
I
plates.
know, I saw
I
that.
gotta get all this, I gotta get all this. And they said, no.
So you're gonna have artists in the auditorium?
Yeah,
Okay.
right now the letters are in the mail. I handed them to the town clerk a week ago, last Monday, to mail out to like 300 or 350 artists or whatever. They came up with the list, I just brought the box to the town clerk, because she controls the postage meter.
Yep.
Didn't we go
No,
back-
it's nice. There's some
we
really
back to
talented.
back with them 1 year or not?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
We did. But that was a long time ago that we did that, right?
Yeah,
Were we before them or after them? I think before.
before, I think.
Yeah, I think we were.
Did that work or no?
No.
That was
no.
a
It
bad
was a bomb,
year.
yeah, it was a bomb.
We were down in I'll call it the sub basement of town hall while the art show was going on up here. It's like, nah.
I don't remember that
People
part.
aren't gonna go all the way down there.
I don't remember that part.
No, I thought there was one year it was here, and then the next day was the art show or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Or they have it over on Saturday and Sunday, and then one year I think we had the home and business show the following Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it was something like that too.
Which was just to give the maintenance staff time to tear down the art show, because they have all these panels up there
Right.
that they put the pictures
Yeah.
and artwork on.
The art shows are great.
Yeah, they are.
They really are.
But said they haven't had it for a couple of years because of COVID. But they're
And are they
gonna
having
do it.
something at the library? Some kind of a informative, is it?
Lynn is having all
Is it
sorts of
because
things.
of Black History Month, or I don't know?
She's doing all sorts of stuff
Yeah.
between Ancestry and
Yeah.
various other
Oh
things.
yeah, the ancestry. I was reading about that.
And in fact, the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce has these after 5 events.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them coming up in March will be at the library.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How do you solicit businesses to be at your show?
So we go around and we send out mailers when we are with Westfield Chamber of Commerce. If we're paired up with them, they'll do their businesses. But we send out flyers.
We typically have a mailing list which is always off a bit because some of the addresses changes or some of the businesses
Yeah.
move out of town. I've got a list of about 300 businesses, alleged
I just gave you a
businesses.
fresh one.
What?
I just emailed you a fresh one.
Oh, I saw that.
And so we'll do that. We'll send that out, and then a lot of times, door knocking. We'll walk right in and say, hey, and we did that for the job fair. We
Right.
went into a bunch of businesses and, said, hey, don't know if you guys got this in the mail, but we're having
One of the
this."
challenges in Southwick with businesses, a lot of businesses are on College Highway. They do not have a mailbox at the
Receptacle.
road,
Yeah.
so therefore the post office will not deliver mail to them. Because apparently, I was told by a
That's where you knock on the doors walking down the street.
Well, yeah. And
you have to, because a previous postmaster had told me that the union here is a truck union. In Westfield, it's a city carrier union with the person carries the bag and
Yeah.
walks.
Yeah.
To your house.
Door to door.
Yeah.
They don't do that generally here. So you could send out 300 and you'll get at least 30 or 40 and then we'll come back with a little yellow slip.
Yeah.
No mail
Yeah,
receptacle.
right.
Yep. Do you ever reach out to home-based businesses?
So
We can't, we don't know who they are.
Well, you
Because
might-
some of them came to our show, right? They
Right.
rented space.
you
Yeah.
you might from the list I gave you.
Okay.
Because one of the categories on it, I think, might indicate who, I'll look at that for you.
Yeah, I'll look at the list.
If you want me to-
I saw what it was. I didn't
So are
have
you
time
talking
to
about
go
like
through
a
the detail.
tastefully simple type stuff? Is that what you mean by home based business?
Perhaps
or?
if that's what they do, but I know
Okay.
there's others who do screen printing.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah.
And somebody else does candle.
Candles.
I
was
think
gonna say
I think we
candles.
have
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah.
I think we
may
have
have
some
a few
of them on
It's
the list.
like, according to what I read in the newspaper, Airbnb and similar is illegal in Southwick.
They're changing that.
Well-
Something-
Well, they're thinking of changing it. Currently, technically, they're illegal, but they've been going on for
So
years.
we
I'd love to have that list so I could give them some of the restaurant lists and say,
put these.
you could
labels-
have these for your clients over
You
here.
can get that from the state too. I think I have that list, or I know how to get it. I will.
Of the Airbnb
I
or
will see if I
verbal
can get
type.
that for you, if you'd like.
Sure.
Yeah, then we can leave like restaurant. Yeah, like you said,
Right.
restaurant lists and whatever, and attract.
I mean,
attractions or
yeah,
something.
we don't care. Spend your money in Southwick. I don't care if
Yep.
it's in
right.
a bar or a pizza place.
Right, or go get your hair cut.
Yeah.
Whatever.
True, true.
Yeah, enough of
Seriously.
those. Yeah, I know.
Because they do have to register with Airbnb,
Mhm.
because Airbnb is collecting the tax and remitting it under their name. So they
Mhm.
have to register through that, so you can get that list
Oh,
off
okay.
one of the state sites. I was looking at it for the short-term
Right.
rental thingy.
So going back to home-based businesses, we do have a few that, like when we were doing the job fair,
Mm-hmm.
and I had reached out to Michael, I'm like, who are these
Yeah,
people? Like,
yeah,
what is
I
this?
know,
And they're
right.
just home-based businesses. So there's like a seamstress and there's like a couple other things, you know what I mean?
A
So we do
jewelry
have-
person too.
Yeah, we
maybe.
do have a few things that are home-based businesses. But, again, advertising saying, hey, if you want to join this. And I think Westfield, and I don't know if it was different, like the whole Airbnb thing you were saying, but there was like a Tastefully Simple. There was, some, like a clothing one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a couple of
Yeah.
those things
Do you-
that were.
But you don't get a lot of those when you do them?
Generally, we don't, the problem is we don't
You
know
who
about
they
them.
are.
Right. And
Is your
how many
list-
can you get? You know what I mean? Like, do you want like 5, Tastefully Simple people showing
Correct,
up?
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So I think once one isn't, but we're trying. A lot of them are the home improvement places. There are restaurants, and sometimes they will have samples of some of their food and stuff
Yeah.
like that. What else have we had? I'm just trying. There's insurances and
yeah.
more.
It used to be when we had more banks in town, we'd have 3 or 4 banks, and I would try to put them in opposite ends of the room. Insurance agents, you're here and you're over
Yeah.
here. Realtors, one there, one there,
Right,
one,
right.
Yeah.
It's like managing the home.
Yeah, didn't we have someone with liquor or seltzers or something, remember?
No.
Tastings, was it?
Really?
Oh no, you know what? I'm confusing that with the fundraiser that was at Tucker's.
Oh,
It was a charity thing.
Oh,
sorry,
okay. Yeah, I was
Is
like,
your list in Excel, or is it just a
Um,
printed list? What do you have?
At it originally was in Excel, and then I've been updating it, and when I get these yellow slips of no mailbox, trying to find if they have a P.O. box, but the post office will not give you.
They won't give you that.
And I understand they've got their regulations.
If you want to email me that, I can do a merge and purge against the one I gave you,
Mhm.
and I can spit out all the ones
Oh,
you don't
okay.
have if you
Sure,
would like.
okay. I can do that,
And at least highlight those that you don't have.
Right.
on your or vice versa.
right. Because it's just from year to year, businesses open or close, or
Yeah,
they get a P.O. box.
What I'm talking about is I got a list from Secretary of State,
okay.
and I also got a list from the town of Southwick of businesses. And I'm gonna marry those two together.
Cause you're asking about number of employees and things
Yeah,
like
I was
that?
trying to do something else for the planning board
Yeah.
issues, and it didn't have the information all of the information I wanted, but I shared it
Mhm.
in case you could use it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got that, I think it was yesterday or this morning or something.
Yeah, I don't know, last night maybe, I don't know, I don't remember when I sent it. And
Well, last
I
night you were
shared it.
hanging out at the planning board
I know,
meeting.
it was after that. And I also shared it with Marcus Phelps for the master plan,
Great.
because sometime
Mm.
down the road, that's probably gonna come into play.
Mhm.
So,
See, because when I tell people that there's at least 300 or 400 small businesses in town, they look at me like I'm crazy.
I think the number I sent you is 319.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we
But
typically
there,
say.
there really are.
Well, those are only those that are registered.
I was just about to say, and there's
Yes,
more that
right,
we
there's
don't
more
know
than that,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Do you require them to be registered?
We see
don't.
nothing, we hear
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, it's just.
It's the same as if
Oh,
you're
you mean,
selling.
do we,
Yeah,
we
no,
don't look
no,
that.
we're-
It's the same as if you're selling a product that's between you and the Department of Revenue Services.
Right,
We're not getting into the middle
Alright,
of
so if you
that.
wanna send me that, I'll see what I
Sure.
can do with it and
Okay,
filter out what you don't have.
right.
And then maybe we can do a master copy for all of us.
Oh, yeah,
After
what-
that, and
sure.
so we each have a
Right.
list.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a secretary, so. And my husband will say, you did what? Just
See, like
you.
my husband. I'm like,
Well, you can send
because
them
part
out
of
for
me
a
was
smoke
I'm
like
like,
you did
well, if
last
you want
night.
to email it to me, and I'm like, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm like, I can't do one more thing. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, oh, yep.
So, you know, we talk about Westfield, but we actually used to have a pretty good relationship with Granby down there,
Uh-huh.
and we used to benefit from that, and now there's nothing. So when you talk about budget and so forth, I mean, those are some of our better days, because those people do like to come up here.
They really do. They really do.
yeah, they do.
Well, see, the thing is, if you do a Bing or a Google search of small towns, and I don't care, some in Western Mass and some of the small towns in Connecticut, and then if you find out if they've got an economic development or whatever they want to call it, many towns, small towns don't, but the ones that do, they typically have budgets between $4,000 and $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
Because part of it is like what the city of Westfield was doing a few years ago. They give 500 or 1,000 if you're trying to do a facade update in your downtown.
Yeah, right.
To make the front of your building look nice, or they give them money toward advertising or toward different things. Some of these towns actually have part-time town employees, and their job is, they get wind from the town clerk or the building inspector of a new business that's coming in. They can then go out and meet them and everything else, and they know about them up front. We're finding out, because if they filed with the town for doing business as, we're finding it in Business West a month or 2 months later.
Or unless we see it, or
Or we
see it coming
driving
soon,
past it.
some- Yeah.
It's like you said last month, what's going on up there? I can see
Right,
there's
right.
something happening to one of those storefronts. Information doesn't flow across.
I know, you said that.
So, it'd be nice if we could, branch over to, Granby, or
It would
find
be.
out.
It would be
I mean,
nice.
are we still getting information from them, or is there any
Well,
contact with going to any of their?
A lot of these organizations, be it Greater Westfield Chamber or the Granby Chamber, they haven't been doing much in the last 2
Right,
years because
right.
you couldn't
COVID.
really have large events or anything. Because like typically Granby works with a couple of other chambers in Connecticut, East Granby and Windsor Locks and all. And typically they hold a little get-together in the morning at that racetrack place across the street from the airport.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
Bradley
yeah,
Bowl,
yeah. I
that's
know
the
what you're
bowling
talking
place.
about.
It's like a sports bar and whatever.
I can't think of the name of it either.
But
I-
you,
The Passport or something? Is it a
No.
restaurant on
No, it's on the
75?
other side. It's
Yeah.
on the airport
can't-
side.
Oh,
yeah, this is across the street.
It's
from here.
baseball player's name.
Yep,
Who bought it?
I don't know. I can't think
I
of it
can't think
either.
of his name.
But anyway, when they have their little get-togethers, they may get 20 or 30 people there,
So when they have their get-togethers,
which are like
Like-
at 7:30 in the morning type thing.
and what is it? Like coffee danishes, like something like
That
that?
kind of thing, yeah.
Who pays for it? Who pays for the coffee
It's
danishes?
paid for by this,
By whatever chamber?
by the restaurant
Bobby
or whatever
V's.
that it's held at.
what is it?
Bobby V's.
Yes.
Bobby V's.
So they pay for what? Who
right by
pays
the
for
airport?
who pays for the coffee and the donuts? Just
Have you been
Bobby
in there?
V's just
Have you been in there?
puts it on
puts it on.
for them.
Right.
Okay.
It's the same as sometimes, once or twice a year, they'll have something at the Cambridge House at 7:30 or
Oh,
8 o'clock in the
okay.
morning. It's the Cambridge House that puts out a pot of coffee and has some muffins or Danish or donuts or something. Nothing lavish, but
Right.
they're the ones that put the thing on.
See, Heidi used to sit on that board down there.
What?
Heidi used to sit on that board down there, Marty's wife. And so we got a lot of information through her as far as what's going on. It made a big difference. I wish somebody had the time to do that,
Heidi's
my son's wife.
Yeah.
son-in-law, daughter-in-law. But it's the same thing as the Granby Chamber, for example, in their restaurant lists, they have some information about the restaurants. They have the Southwick restaurant list. They did this 3 or 4 years ago. They added Southwick just with the name of the restaurant, address, and phone number, no other details about it. Which was nice, getting our 30 or 35 places
Yeah.
listed in Granby's list. But it's all networking, it's all BSing, you know.
Right, but it is, but if it's gonna bring people into our town
Oh, yeah.
too, I mean obviously. So I mean, one thing is I know a lot of people from Connecticut always came for Big Y, but now they put a Big Y in Simsbury.
Yeah.
So that cut it out a little bit. I know they come over
For gas.
for gas a lot of times
All
too,
you gotta do
depending
is
on.
go in the Ocean States Big White parking lot. 50% of the cars have Connecticut plates.
Not necessarily anymore. I think a lot more. Are going
As of a
into-
month or 2 months ago, they
Really?
still were, yeah.
Okay.
It is every time I go.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe the prices are just better. I don't know.
Yeah, no idea, I was looking at license plates, my wife says, what are you looking at? I said, I'm surveying license.
Check it out.
I bet ours is at least 80%, 80, 85, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
In your place? Really?
Oh, yeah, Connecticut. That's why I say, but, and, I mean, I even look what they do in the green down there with their advertising. Of course, we're afraid of signs on up here, but they take and they use them, so people look for the
I know.
change and,
Oh yeah, there's all those
Yeah.
A-frames
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And to a lesser extent, they do the same thing in Suffield.
Yeah.
Up
Do
by
they?
the traffic light in the green.
I don't know too. It's ugly as hell.
I read them.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what vehicle they use to, not have every business in town. I think they rotate or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I have no idea the
But,
details, but there's
If
always
we-
signs.
If we had money in the budget or whatever, we could create things like that, but here we just sit with $600, so.
Right,
Where we can barely pay to be part of
Right.
these things, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's all moot if we can't do anything.
So why aren't you asking for $4,000?
we're asking for 2, we'll start there.
Look, we're already. I mean, the fact that
We could always hit up the selectmen's gift account. we had something special.
Rainy day
Gee,
account.
guys,
Yes.
we could use some money from the
Yes.
gift account.
But I'm saying if they want us to do things, we ought to get them in the ballpark, we're not even in the ballpark.
Who wants us to do things?
I'm just saying theoretically,
Ask
we're
them what they
supposing.
want you to do.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
That's how you fight.
right.
We, I think last year with the budget cut, I think that just threw us off. I think that just threw us off.
Well, I
originally. And I think we didn't think with COVID and everything, I think we were a little lax as well because, we couldn't meet. We couldn't be together. We couldn't do anything. And I don't know if they thought that was going to progress for another year. But
Well, I think that's part of the thing of the town is they didn't know if the real estate tax would continue to come in or if people would pay their water bills or their sewer bills. Because none of
And they
this,
took it from you?
right. Well, you take
I
it,
think they took it from a lot.
schools have to get half the budget and police and fire need Uzis. But it just, they haven't been negatively impacted. And properties, for example, properties are still being sold, commercial industrial stuff. As I say, the former bank was bought within 6 months of it closing. And now it'll be a dentist's office.
Did you use your $600?
We've used most of it.
So that's a
We were
plus.
being
Right.
frugal though.
Right,
I
but
mean, there
even-
wasn't anything else we could,
Even with all the limitations you had, you used it well.
Right,
What little you had,
right.
that's a plus in your column.
So is there anything else that we need to discuss?
No, I don't think so. I think, I mean,
We
we
can
should
g-
try and be at the March meeting if we can. I think it'd be good to.
You mean at the
to-
town, for the budget?
Right.
Yeah.
On March 5th at
Right.
8:20.
I'll see,
I-
I got a lot of steel coming, I'll see how it goes.
Okay, I know, I'm like, I got a lot going, but we're gonna try. I think we should all
This is
definitely
before you
try.
show any listings that morning.
You
know.
think so?
Well, this is only 8:20, so then you can.
You think? Do you know what
I
time my
just assume
clients
you're
start
not-
calling me and texting me at?
Early.
Early bird gets that worm.
No idea. Because the new listings go out, like if you're on if you're on one of my emails generated like for what you're looking for in the market, I think those go out between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m.
Wow.
So by 6:30 a.m., they've already looked at them. They know what they want to go see.
Well, there's one real estate agent that's been sending out postcards and giving you a code on it. And if you go to this particular website and put in that code, it's supposed to give you the value of your house.
They all come that way.
You know,
It's
so,
it's on. I can send. It's through a company. So if you send
Right.
out postcards, it's automatically, and it sends you like their information as well. Like, hey, they looked up. So if you do that, it goes, hey, so and so at this address looked up what their home was worth. You might want to check this out. Check,
It's marketing.
It's all
Yeah.
marketing, which is fine. I mean, marketing is good. Marketing is great. Referrals, as far as I'm concerned, are better. I'd rather
Yeah.
have my name. I'd rather have somebody say, "Hey, she did a great job."
well, you guys sold that house around the corner from me for 700 and, was it 740 or something, I believe?
That was a beautiful home.
I've never been in, I don't know. But it must have been for that price.
Yep.
Where was it? In Lexington?
On Deer Run.
Okay.
The people had been in there, that they were the original buyers back in 2002 or 2003
They
or
had a
whatever.
beautiful pool and a beautiful pool house. Like you could have made like
Nice.
another little
It's perfect
home inside
condition.
it. It was pretty darn good condition. Yep. Yep. So, I mean, in those homes, again, it's not like it. you don't sell that in like a minute. You know what I mean? That
Right.
those are specific buyers. You know, same with a lot of commercial properties, a lot of, you know, land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like expect land to sell, like homes sell. It's just
No.
not the way.
No.
You know, you have to find specific buyers for something like
Is
that.
that land still for sale off North Long Yard? Supposedly you could put in 80 or 100 houses or something there.
I don't know. I didn't. Oh yeah. I think that's still for sale. I didn't see if that sold or not. I don't have a buyer for that, so I haven't paid attention.
I heard it was crappy land.
Whereabouts on North Long Yard?
It's on the right-hand side as you're
going
heading toward
towards
Westfield.
Okay.
And the sign
Is it
says-
past the houses that are up on the hill?
It's before them, I believe.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
it
It's
is.
before them.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of these commercial, real estate agency type things. I can't remember the name of it. I think the land is owned by the same people from College Highway,
Oh,
but they're using a real estate agent
all right.
for this rather than them selling it themselves. I don't think they want their name out there.
Excuse me.
I mean, the people
How many
that,
acres
the
is
Griffin, the,
Yeah,
It's quite a few. It's like
really?
It's a lot. I don't remember the exact number. It's a lot of acreage.
it is, yeah.
60?
I think it's
80?
more than that.
It could be
I
like
feel
80 or 100
yeah,
or
I
maybe
think-
over
I
100
think it was
acres.
that.
What's the price, Judy?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I haven't looked at it in a little while. It's been on the market for a little while.
Yeah, it has.
I might invest in some mid-priced housing.
I have 30 acres for sale on Granville Road.
30
How many
acres?
houses can I put on that? I could put 25.
Depends what it gets perked for.
So anything else we need to go over?
I don't know of anything, huh?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I just think that you know is important for us.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I
Aye. That was unanimous.